Hollyoaks stars devastating death days after joyful pregnancy news. Frankie Jules-Hough had a bright future ahead when she was tragically killed by a speeding motorist. The 38-year-old former Hollyoaks actress was 17 weeks pregnant with her third child and was eagerly anticipating the arrival of her unborn baby. She had already enjoyed a successful television career, appearing as Jess Holt in the Channel 4 teen soap. Her character was Sol Campbell's girlfriend.
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for core power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. High-quality protein to build muscle. The nutrition you need to power on.
Ready to order? Scan the QR code now or visit grabdeal.us/10.
Sol was played by actor Paul Danon, who himself died in 2025. Alongside her prominent role in the popular Channel 4 program, Jess had also featured in Wire in the Blood, Where the Heart Is, Heartbeat, and Mercybeat reports the Daily Star. However, Frankie was preparing for a new chapter, becoming mother to a baby girl, when her life was devastatingly cut short at just 38, leaving her two young sons and partner, Calvin Buckley, completely heartbroken. Expectant Frankie was also caring for her nephew alongside her sons and was taking one of her boys to his father's house when disaster struck. Recalling the traumatic day, Calvin said, "We said goodbye. I told her I loved her, and I never saw her again." Frankie was driving along the M66 motorway in Greater Manchester in May 2023 with her two sons and nephew when her vehicle suffered a puncture and she stopped on the hard shoulder. This is when Adil Iqbal plowed into Frankie's car after losing control of his father's BMW. The then 22-year-old had previously been recording himself driving at speeds of up to 123 mph. Calvin said, "I received a call to say she had been in a crash and wasn't conscious. My first thought was that she had lost the baby. The traffic was snarled up when I reached the motorway. I just got out of the car and ran as fast as I could. It felt as though I was running forever. When I got there, it was like a horror scene. Frankie's car was mangled. I don't know how anyone could survive that. The boys were on the ground. Frankie was being treated by paramedics. My whole world just imploded." Frankie was airlifted to Preston Hospital, where her devastated family received the crushing news that her brain injuries were so catastrophic that her chances of survival were slim. Yet there remained one glimmer of hope. Frankie's unborn baby daughter, whom she and Calvin had named Neve after finding out the sex just 6 days earlier, still had a detectable heartbeat. Tragically, however, Calvin was told that their baby could only survive if her mother pulled through. Calvin endured an agonizing 2-day bedside vigil before Frankie, along with their unborn daughter, passed away. He said, "That was utterly heartbreaking to hear. Not only did I have to watch Frankie slip away from me, but I knew that when she did, our daughter's heart would stop beating too. I stayed with Frankie for 2 days, holding her hand, but she couldn't fight any longer, and when she died, Neve wasn't strong enough to survive on her own. It still doesn't seem real. It's a nightmare that I play over and over in my mind." Frankie's two sons suffered serious injuries, so when his partner died, Calvin channeled all his energy into willing them to pull through. He said, "I didn't have time to grieve as the boys were still in hospital in a coma, and my focus just switched to them for the next 3 or 4 weeks. We didn't know if they would survive. It was the most unimaginably cruel situation. We were praying for the boys to wake up, but knew that when they did we would have to tell them Frankie and Neve were gone. Fortunately, both boys, despite sustaining brain injuries, survived after spending weeks in intensive care at hospital." Calvin said, "One minute, we had a family home, Frankie, me, the boys, and we were so excited for Neve to make it complete. Now, the boys are living with their dads, and I wake up to a much quieter house every morning. It's a completely senseless tragedy." The driver responsible, Iqbal, was initially sentenced to 12 years for causing death by dangerous driving, but this was subsequently extended to 15 years after 3 appeal judges determined his original sentence was unduly lenient. Following the tragic death of their mother, Frankie's son, Tommy Spencer, and nephew Tobias Welby, collaborated on designing a road safety program featuring vibrant, colorful characters aimed at teaching young children how to keep families safe on the roads. The courageous Calvin, along with Frankie's father Frank, took these creations into schools to help youngsters grasp the vital importance of road safety. Calvin said, "We wanted the children to be involved. It's something there so they are seeing their mum and sister remembered all the time. It celebrates their memory. We have a culture where it's cool to drive like an idiot and put people's lives at risk." People ask me if I hate the driver who killed Frankie and Neve, but that's not who I am most angry at. I'm angry at a culture of reckless driving, which meant he was able to get likes on social media for reckless and lawless driving. Road deaths feel acceptable, and they shouldn't be. Education is the best route out of this. We need proper road safety education in schools and on the curriculum. There's nothing more important than learning how to stay alive.